Hello, 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 hello. How are you? This is Els Kimney from Bemis Crafty Corner. And today, I'm going to talk about these. Um, these come from a printable that I bought. I don't know whose digital it is, but, I get these a lot in digitals. They're little, like, envelopes, and you fold them up, and I don't know what you're supposed to do with them because they put the decoration on this side and this is the side that opens. And so I don't know, I don't know if you're supposed to glue this onto a page or stick it in a pocket or what you're supposed to do with it. But for any designers who might be out there, could you guys put the decoration on this side so that, if we glue this onto a page, you can still be opened and used? That would be great. But if you want to make something like this, because I'll show you what I do with them. So I have these little things, and then I put a little piece of paper in here, and it's a great little journaling spot. So let's make these, okay? Let's make something very similar to these. Not exactly the same, but we're going to make something very similar, okay? So I am going to get out the supplies, and we're going to get started on this one. It's all small stuff, guys. This is easy peasy. So I'm going to get out the supplies. I'll be right back, and I'm going to show you because we're going to make one that looks like this. Still has the little journal piece in it, and we're going to make one that looks like this, and this way you guys can make these for yourself. Okay? So I'm going to be right back with the supply list in just a second. Hold on. So let's take a quick look at supplies on this one. Adhesive. Ink and a dauber. If you want to ink it, totally up to you. Pair of scissors to do some trimming. Some scoring tools, your scoreboard. The paper that we're going to use for the body. And then some paper that you may use to do inside. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to do that. Okay? So we're going to start with our piece of paper. This is 5 1/4 by 4 1/4. We're going to put the 5 1/4 inch piece across the top, and we're going to do some scoring. We're going to score at 1.5 inches. Not heavy here, just very lightly. Okay, 1.5 inches, and then we're going to come over and we're going to do it at 3 7/8. That's one mark before the 4. Okay. And then we're going to turn this so that the 4 1/4 side is now at the top, and we're going to score this at 3/4 inch. That's halfway between 1/2 and 1. Again, just a couple of light scores. And we're going to score it all the way over here at 3 1/4, and that's the midpoint between 3 and 3.5. Just like that. So you should have 3 boxes here, 3 boxes here, and 3 small boxes here. That's all the scoring we're going to be doing. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the scoreboard, and I'll be back, and we're going to work through the rest of this, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, so we're going to fold and burnish the score lines. And the general rule of thumb is if you have a valley, you're going to turn it into a mountain. So we have all of our score lines going in the same direction here. So we're going to fold it over, and we're going to burnish our line, and we're going to fold this one, we're going to burnish it, and then we're going to fold these, same thing, hills into valleys, valleys into hills, okay? This will help reduce any cracking to the paper. Alright, so now we have a piece that looks like this. Alright? Now we're going to get rid of a few things. We are going to get rid of this piece, this piece, this piece, and that piece. All right? We are not going to wedge these. We are going to cut straight up, just inside the score line. And we are going to, on the smaller side, you'll notice one of these is larger than the other. On the smaller side, we're going to wedge here. okay? So straight inside the score line to this score line, and then a nice wedge here, okay? And then up here, straight down, and just a slight wedge. Straight down, and then a slight wedge. So we've gotten rid of these 4 parts, and we have a piece that looks like this. Okay? Now, if you want to at this point, and this is not mandatory, but you know, at this point if you want to, you can round some corners. Obviously, you don't have to, but you know, if you want to. All right, now we're going to fold some things in. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fold up this bottom flap, and then we're going to be bringing these over, okay? Now, when I glue this, the way that I do it is I put glue all the way on the outside of my top flap, and glue on the very edge of my bottom flap. That way, when I put them together and they overlap, you get glue on both sides. Okay? And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on here. Now, I like to have a little finger nip here, so I'm going to take one of my punches, and I'm going to just kind of slide it in there. Fold this back so I can see. I'm going to slide that in, and I can just barely get that in there. If you use a small one, you can do this. And then I'm going to just nip that out. All right? Now, you don't have to put a finger nip in there if you don't want to. That's entirely up to you. Okay? And then you're going to ink this. Now, if you're making these ahead, you may not ink it because you may go, you know, well, I don't know what colors I'm going to be doing it in. But for the purpose of this, to make it easier for you guys to see everything, I'm going to go ahead and ink this now because having the ink on there does make it more visible. Okay? Now this is a heavy piece of parchment that I'm using. So it has some really great lines and stuff in it. So if I just barely tap it with my ink dauber, I get a little bit more depth of color here. All right. So now I've inked this, and I can decorate this any way that I want. I can put this in my bin and save it for later, or I can decorate it for the project that I'm doing right now. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to make something for the inside. And this is about just over a hair over 2 1/4 inches wide by just shy of 2 1/2 inches deep. So we're going to do like 2 by 2 1/4. And that's where this comes in. Now you can do this the way that I did the original one. And you can cut a piece that's 2 inches. And then what I do is I just kind of, you know, cut 3/4 of an inch off the end. This is a scrap, you know, that I have. And then what I do is I fold it in half. And then I fold it in on itself. Okay, and this is the easiest way of doing it. And then you can just slide that in. And it's a fairly nice large piece of paper, you know, as far as for journaling. Now the other way that you can do this is, where did I put it? Here it is. I have this little card that's left over at the Cardstock. And this one is 4 1/4, because it's the leftover piece from cutting the pocket, by 2 1/4. So I think it might be okay. And what I do with this one is I just kind of fold it in half. There we go. And then you can round the corners on this if you want to. And this will fit in there too. The other thing that you can do is you can take this and put this in here. And you can use a stapler if you have a stapler, or you can tie this in, or you can just glue this. So let's go ahead and let's ink this. And I'm going to round the corners on this. Just these front corners. I'll ink both sides. And then I'm going to put some glue in here. You open this up and you have this little like notebook where you can journal. It's a little hidden kind of tuck journal spot. And you can put it in there. You can decorate this any way that you want, and it fits right into this little pocket, and you can put that in something else. Okay, so that's the first way to do these, and then I'm going to show you the traditional way, the way that they come when you get a printable. Okay, right back. All right, so for the more traditional, the way that you get them this way for the, you know, when you buy a digital, we're going to start with a piece of paper that's 4 by 5 inches. We're going to score it at 3/4 of an inch. A couple of light passes, 3/4 of an inch, and that leaves you 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1/4 inches. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it around and we're going to score it at 2 inches. Okay? And then we're going to turn it this way. And we're going to put a 3/4 of an inch score, half-inch score, I'm so sorry, 1/2 inch of a score on this side, and we're going to do a 1/2 inch score on this side. Okay? And what I'm showing you is not this tiny little envelope. I'm showing you more of an envelope here. So, again, we're just going to fold and burnish, making all of our valleys into hills and all of our hills into valleys. Okay, we're going to get rid of a few pieces here. We're going to get rid of this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. Okay? So, straight down, just inside this one, to the first score, a slight wedge. Same thing on the other side, just down, and then a slight wedge. And then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to go straight up just inside the score line. To this score line. And then just a slight wedge. Same thing over here. Just a slight wedge. And straight up the score line. Okay. Get rid of our 4 pieces. And I'm just going to very quickly reburnish my folds. I've got a little bit of a eat there. Okay, so now if you want to round corners, go ahead and get that done. And, you know, you don't have to use a regular corner rounder. If you have something decorative, that might be cute too. I'm going to round these as well. And this one's pretty simple. All you have to do is just put a little bit of glue on this part. And over on this one. And of course you could use tape on the outside of this edge if you wanted to, so that you had like immediate hold. You're going to bring that up. Let's get rid of any excess glue we have. And again, I'm just going to put a little bit of ink on here so that you guys can see the edges. Okay, let's take a look. So this one has a nice big pocket. You don't need to put a finger pull on this one unless you want to. You have a nice little flap that comes down. And again, this is something you can either glue in or you can add something to it and tuck it in. And again, you know, just use your scraps. You know, find out how wide it is and how tall it is. This one is exactly 3 inches across and 2 1/4 inches tall. So let's take this one at 2 1/4. And then we're going to do 3. So what I do is I just fold it in half. And then I put it in here. I hit it at 3. Scoot it over just a hair. A little bit more. Maybe 2 7/8. Let's see. Yep, 2 7/8. Fits in there nicely. And then I have a little, you know, hidden tuck spot. And I can put this in, like I said, I can put that in as an envelope, in a pocket. I can glue it down and use it as an opening, you know, however I want to put this in. But that's it. That's how easy and quick and simple these are. And then you just decorate them up, you know, and they're cute. So that's it. That's my little quick project for today. If you're new here and you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. Like me, ring my bell, share me with all your friends, and then your friends can be my friends. My friends can be your friends, and our friends can get to be friends. And before you know it, we have a giant crafting community. I go live on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and Sundays. let's see. I post videos on Mondays and Wednesdays. And I have 2 things going on in 2022. The first of which is my free classes. I'm doing free classes throughout 2022. And if you want information on those, the best way to do that is to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and make sure that you mark the all notifications, and that way you get told as soon as those videos get posted. The other thing that I'm doing is my 12 of 22 journal challenge, and that is 12 different themes or styles of journals throughout the year. And all you have to do to get involved with that is go down in the description box below and get yourself to that link. And the link is going to help you to figure out what our topic is for the month, because we change the topic every month. And I kind of like it. So go ahead and click on the link, get the information, and join us for the 12 of 22 journal challenge. It has really been great. That's all I have for you. Until I see you again, stay safe. Bye-bye.